the people, bruised but breathing, hands in the dirt, hearts still beating. You can push us down, but we rise again. From the ashes, from the hunger, from the shame we're in, we the people, storm-torn steeple, cracked stained glass, but the light shines equal. We are not the chains that keep you in. We the people. Yeah, we the people.
All right, let's go. This is exciting. We had just, this is our first launch, our premiere of We the People. And, I am so pumped. I'm so excited. As we come out, we do all of our streaming on all of our platforms and everything else we do live, whether it's TikTok or it's Instagram, Facebook Live. I mean, Patriots are alive and well. I want to be very clear why we came out with the name We the People. We are doing everything we can to get rid of the labels. The Republicans, the Democrats, the Independents, the Liberals, we are either going to say you are American first or you're not. Do you have the best interest of the United States of America? Do you have the best interest of my family? Do you have the best interest of yours? The reason why we keep pushing this out, we keep pumping our agenda, is because we know that the USA is in trouble. We know that America's in trouble. We know that we've got to do everything we can for the best interest in humanity. We know that politics is so important, but over here at We the People, it's always got to be humanity first, and our political views come second. Right now, what we're seeing is that there's a complete and total overhaul and hijacking of the Democratic Party. And the Democratic Party, as we know it, they don't exist anymore. It's finished. It is done. It is over. And basically, it has been hijacked by the socialist regime. Everything that we're talking about, whether it's a Mayor Mamdani over in New York City, or this incompetent mayor over there in Seattle, or we've got what's going on in Minnesota and the takeover at Dearborn, Michigan. I'm very clear of who our common enemy is. As if you look at the socialist leaders, the ones that are leading TikTok and everybody else, which are much bigger platforms than myself, is they're saying their common enemy is Republicans and Democrats. Well, what I'm hearing then, when they're saying the common enemy is Republicans and Democrats, what they're saying is their common enemy is the American citizen of the United States of America. And that at that point, we can't, we can't sit by and let our vulnerable, our sick, our elderly, our women, our children, we've got to do everything we can as patriots of the United States of America. To me right now, it lives and breathes with Gen X. We've got to do a better job of teaching our children that, because I'm nervous right now that we are raising a whole entire an army of pansies, So we got to do everything we can to stand up for the next generation. Because if we don't accomplish with this president right now, Donald Trump, and we lose the midterms coming up in November, 100% for a fact, and our president came out and said it, by the way, that they will put impeachment papers the very next day. And then at that point, then we just got a lame duck president, and he's going to just spend the next 2 years going out and fighting the Democrats for this, and everything's going to go to the wayside. If you guys don't show up for the midterms, you're just saying that we want to put the biological boys back in the room with our biological daughters, and we want to get the biological boys back on the volleyball courts, smashing volleyballs in our daughters' faces. And you want to go back to open borders, and I can promise you, if you think the open borders were a problem before, baby, you haven't seen nothing yet. They get rid of Donald Trump, America is finished, it is done, it is over. Whether you're on TikTok here, whether you're on Instagram Live, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're just a patriot of the United States of America, and at this point, I will tell everybody out there, the Democrats that don't align with the socialism thinking, I will tell you 100% for a fact that you are welcome here, and I will walk with you. We are going to get rid of all the labels. And the only label that we want to see is, are you an American? Do you have best interest of the United States of America? Do you go to your church? Do you have family values? Are you going to temple? Do you denounce what is happening in Iran? Thousands and thousands of children right now. And by the way, breaking news just coming in that it looks like that Iran came and tried to bring a drone into the USS Abraham Lincoln, and we just shot down that drone immediately. So it is going to begin in Iran as we pray every single day for those warriors and those children that a lot of them, by the way, are Christian faith followers, and they can never come out and because in fear of losing their lives to these Islamic leaders. So I am so pumped up. I'm so excited. We have to do everything we can to topple, that supreme leader, that Ayatollah who is doing atrocities on all those children, all those families. And I got to tell you, all those children that are out there yelling, free, free Palestine, where are you now? I want to know where every single one of those protesters are. Where are you now? Not screaming for the children of Iran. Because what, Israel's not involved? No one attacked Israel? Is it all about Israel? Are you not on the payroll? I mean, what are we talking about here when children are losing their lives? It doesn't matter. We always say we don't care if we don't ask who you are or where you're from. We say, are you a mommy? Are you a daddy? Are you a child? Are you hurting? What can we do to help? Anyway, so I'm just pumped up here. I'm so excited. This is the launch. We're going to have Jake Lang is coming in about, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We got a countdown. We are so pumped up and so excited to have this man come on. I mean, obviously, he's very controversial, like myself, like the Midnight. He speaks what he speaks right out. He doesn't hold anything back. He's very transparent. And we're going to get to find out who Jake Lang really is. So hang in there. We've got this interview coming on with Jake Lang. So excited, about this. And again, the latest thing, if you don't know who Jake Lang is, he was the man that just was the mob in Minnesota basically beat him down for exercising his right to freedom of speech. You might not like the rhetoric or some of the words that come out of this man's mouth, and you might not like everything he does, but at the end of the day, this man has the best interest of the United States of America. This man's a patriot. This man shows up when everybody's afraid to do it, and at the end of the day, he is allowed to be there to exercise his rights for freedom of speech without worrying about if he's going to get beat up or God forbid, hit with a weapon or something like that. So we're gonna get into the head of Jake Lang, as he's a J6 survivor. He was in prison for 4 years, but we're gonna get him to have this conversation with us. So, but again, I'm so excited. This is our first premiere of We the People. Our aspirations are we are going to be the biggest conservative platform all over through social media. And the app I want everyone to download, if we can, is America's First Media and Television. Again, download the TikTok app, download Instagram, download Facebook, America's First Media and Television. We're going to be streaming live on all of this. Again, and it's on my platform. I posted it. You got it on my platform. You got it on my lives. I put it on my posts. Again, you guys all have every name that I'm streaming on here. Again, whether it's Shawn Michael on Facebook, whether it's on Instagram, it's the Midnight 123. Over here on TikTok, I am the Midnight, and then over here at America's First Warehouse is America's First Media and Television, and you can find that on the App Store. And I know that we're doing this right now because TikTok hasn't shut us down yet, so I'm so excited we haven't violated anything yet. Which obviously we always worry about them because their community guidelines is a little sketchy compared to everybody else's. But with that said, we're going to do the best we can to satisfy all platforms as we are streaming right now in the United States of America. And the breaking news just coming in that the United States of America, the USS Abraham Lincoln, has just been approached by an Iranian drone, looked like very aggressive, and we shot it down. Also, there are boats now, Iranian boats, trying to stop oil vessels also moving through the canals over there. It looks like the rhetoric is building up. It looks like we're absolutely going to go into Iran, and I'm so excited, I'm so pumped up about this. I've been a very large voice for these children. The atrocities from this supreme leader has been absolutely insane. As we continue here in the United States of America to denounce the Nation of Islam, we say that the president absolutely has to go and sign an executive order immediately banning Sharia law. And you're going to hear a lot of this from Jake Lang too. One of the things that Jake and I are in line with is that Sharia law has got to be banned out of the United States of America. As far as I'm concerned, this is not only a cancer here, only in America, but it is a cancer here going all around the world. For all intents and purposes, the United Kingdom has fallen with that disgusting prime minister over there. Absolutely has caused treason. He is a traitor to the country. He's continuing to let so many people, illegal immigrants, just pour into the country, and that should be come to a stop immediately. Anyway, and the world is praising Donald Trump. Somalia praising Donald Trump. Nigeria praising Donald Trump. The children of Iran, please Donald Trump, help us, come get us. We're losing our lives by the thousands. The people from Venezuela, oh my God, Donald Trump has freed us. I mean, and then we've got half the country that want to impeach him. At this point, I'm going to tell you right now, half the country doesn't deserve this president. They are ungrateful, and Donald Trump is taking a stand saying, you know what? If you don't want me, you don't have to have me. Federal funding is going to stop in all of these, in states of these blue states that don't appreciate me. So funding will stop for New York, funding will stop for Minnesota, funding will stop for Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, and everywhere else. Anyway, we're going to go, I think we got, about 16 seconds, 15 seconds. I'm starting to learn this down. We got 15 seconds to a commercial break. TikTok, you're going to stay live with us through the commercial break as you guys are getting behind the scenes information, what's going on. And then when we come back, we will have Jake Lang with us. Woo!
You noticed your money just doesn't stretch like it used to? Your paycheck feels lighter, and your savings aren't growing. The culprits? Inflation and increased money supply. They've both been quietly eating away at your purchasing power for years. Today, the dollar's value has dropped significantly. You feel it every time you spend money on goods and services. Back in 1965, $1 or an ounce of silver could buy you a gallon of milk. Fast forward to today. That same dollar barely buys a couple of coffee creamers, while an ounce of silver would get you 8 gallons of milk. Gold and silver have held their value for centuries. If you had 2,500 ounces of silver back in 1965, you could buy a brand new Ford Mustang. Today, 2,500 ounces of silver would buy you 2 Mustangs. Similarly, in the year 2000, 628 ounces of gold would buy a new $170,000 home. Today, 628 ounces would buy you a $2,500,000 home. The problem? 95% of Americans don't own physical gold or silver. They think it's too complicated and too expensive, but it doesn't have to be. We offer a membership program that allows you to buy gold or silver with as little as $1. You can buy fractional amounts, safely vault them, or have them delivered to your doorstep, and you can liquidate them whenever you want at the highest buyback price in the industry. Ready to protect your wealth and keep your purchasing power? Scan the QR code or go to tafw.soundmoney.com to learn more.
If the vote count is accurate, then how come the number of voters is different? And if it's not accurate, then why was it certified? We are suing Letitia James and the New York State Board of Elections for a conspiracy against fundamental rights. This is not about who won, it's not about what party, it's about the fact that they don't care about your rights.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night, live at the America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
It's me, Joe the Box.
And I'm John the Blanket with the America First Podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino Podcast.
I'm James Justice. We got Stephen Ruth over here. What are we doing, Steve? Fighting! Welcome to the Patriots podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse.
Welcome to Liberty's Cage, the podcast tearing down the walls of America's broken justice system.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Downey Jr. podcast. Be free, stay free.
Oh, we are. Jay Klang, sir, how are you?
Brother Midnight, God bless you.
God bless you, man. How are you?
I'm
man.
healing up, after getting lynched, the first white person to ever be lynched in American history, simply for being Christian and being white. It's never happened before. Minneapolis needs to be shut down. We need to bring in the Insurrection Act, U.S. Marshals, DHS, you name it. Bring them all in there, shut the city down. They're dangerous. They're not allowing American citizens to exercise their rights. It's a tyrannical, Marxist, absolute takeover there.
Well, I got to tell you, Jake. Let me turn this around so people can see you. I got to tell you that you're out there, man, and you're making noise. I mean, we're all watching the videos. We're watching you go viral. And people got to understand this doesn't start with Jake Lang. This starts with the enemy that's been led in this country. People want to, they just want to look at the ending of a man that lost his life in Minnesota or a girl that was driving their car. They don't want to ask, well, why were they there? How'd they get there? What were the things that they did that's bad? And, and then they want to persecute a guy like you. And listen, I watch what you do. I believe I know who Jake Lang is. When I watch you, I see a guy that loves his country. When I watch you, I see a guy that loves his religion. When I watch you, I see his guy that says, recognize like I do. To me, the number one enemy in this country right now that we have a common enemy is socialism and what's happening from the Nation of Islam. So they want to call you Islamophobic. And I'm like, well, if they just want to continue saying titles and throwing shit out like that, well, then call me. I don't care. You can call me Islamophobic too, because I don't align with a prophet that married his 6-year-old child and sleeping and consummating a marriage at 9. I mean, here in the United States of America, we would call that a pedophile and you would be in prison.
It's 100% true. And, these labels that they try, racist, misogynistic, homophobic, anti-Semite, anti-Islamic, these labels have lost all their power because they've just blanketed everybody with it. I'll tell you what is real racism. When you have 41 times the amount of black on white assaults and you have white on black assaults, that's real racism. Saying a word does not make you racist. Living out actions and creating institutions that purposely persecute certain people based on the color of their skin, that's real racism. And what we have now is colleges not allowing white people and Asian people. By the way, some guy just sued like 13 of the top universities because he had it's an Asian guy. He had a 4.8 GPA, one of the highest ever. He couldn't get into Yale, Harvard, any of these places because he's Asian. They consider him like a white person, somebody to be discarded, not based on the content of their character, but they're judging him on the content and the color of his skin. And so this is real racism. People call me racist because I throw around some words, but guess what? You can find me any day of the week out on the street, helping, handing out coats and stuff, handing out food to any color of people, mentoring the youth of America. I do prison ministry. Even in prison, I baptize dozens of men, most of them black and Spanish. So I have love for all of God's creation in my heart, but I am pro-white. And when I say I'm pro-white, meaning if you lived in New York, you'd be pro-Giants because they're the Giants, right? So I'm for my home team. I'm pro-America. I'm pro-white. I'm pro-Christian. Doesn't mean I hate other people. It means that I'm going to put the interests of my people first. And that's why I speak on, and that's why I'm so controversial, because I'm somebody who's putting the interests of white people first. Oh, shame on me. Hang me at the gallows. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's what, before you came on here, and I want to bring the light onto you. I really want to shine this incredible light on you, and you deserve it on so many levels. But one of the things, when people are seeing who Jake Lang is, they kind of like, your message gets lost because of, the N word they see it used. They saw something with a salute out to you. And I know when I'm watching you, because I see the good that you do also. So how do you continue to tell your message that, America first, people first? I'm the level of racist that you think I am not. I'm just pro my country first, pro my religion first. And how can we reel that back in without losing those patriots? Because there's a ton of patriots of the United States of America that's afraid to align with you because they're afraid to be labeled as a racist.
Well, listen, first of all, we need to drive out fear from the conversation, because patriots do not act out of fear. I had this quote I said a lot when I was in prison, but fear does not live in the heart of a patriot. And so if we're making our movements and kind of curtailing our rhetoric, self-censoring around what the left wants us to say, then we've already lost the battle. We cannot self-censor. If we want to say somebody's being white trash, right? That's because that's how they're acting. We're saying, that area right there, that's white trash. Don't go over there. There's a bunch of meth heads, bunch of people that are stealing rims and stuff. And the same way you drop the N-word, it's not a blanket cover for all black people, but it just so happens that 70-80% of black people are obsessed with this ghetto culture right now, and they have no moral values that they're promoting in their community. They're obsessed with the strippers, Cardi B, and the rappers and the ball players, and they're acting insane. They're acting like imbeciles. And so you have to call people as you see them. You have to call a spade. And if people are acting in wholesale, an entire community, with violence, with degradation, with hatred for our country, then you need to say what you need to say about those people, because the reason why it has progressed this far, the ghettoized culture, the immigrant culture, where we have people from Pakistan, from India, from South America moving in and stealing our jobs and changing the culture, changing the demographics. The reason why the ghettoification and the brownification and the invasion of our country has happened is because white men have been too afraid to say, hey, I like my America the way it was in the 1980s and 90s, and we don't need 200 million Somalis here to make America great again. And so you have to call it what it is. You have to stand up. You have to speak out. And if it means using some rhetoric that may be inflammatory, that may be offensive, guess what? They call us that every day. Remember when they labeled us deplorables? Remember when they called us trash, and then President Trump wore the trash man's outfit? They're calling us names, and they're doing worse. They're murdering us. So maybe it's time we get masculine, we get strong, stop being so nice, and take back our country.
Yeah, one thing I agree with you on. Well, there's many things I agree with you on. And again, I'm going to be very clear. I don't want you. I think that you are an outstanding individual. I think that you are a patriot of the United States of America. I watch what you do. You put yourself in harm's way, and I just don't want your message to get lost. And by the way, there's a very large percentage of the black community that helped put Donald Trump in. There's a very large percentage, of the Jewish community that put Donald Trump in, and the Amish community that put Donald Trump in. And we are getting exactly what we voted for. And thank God they made an arrest on Don Lemon, but we have to do so much more than that. On my platform all over social media, I'm asking for the arrest of Tim Walz. I'm asking for the arrest of Jacob Fry. I'm asking for the arrest and the deportation of Ilhan Omar. Why are the people in Minnesota so lost? That nobody's screaming about the $19 billion. And I think out of Minnesota, that's just the tip of the iceberg. But they're so quick to talk about ICE agents, and ICE is only there because ICE was called in to protect the people of Minnesota because $19 billion went missing. So where are we going? Where is our message getting lost? And, unless you're telling me thousands of them, every single one of them is a paid agitator. I mean, the paid agitators, we can't do nothing about it. But what about the children that are following? How can we get our message without getting lost and saying, hey, listen, America's in trouble. We have an enemy that is at our door, and the Democrats have let them in. It's the same thing as a vampire. You cannot let a vampire into your home unless he was invited, like Zohran Mamdani. He's a very bad dude. I live in New York City. Zohran Mamdani is terrible. He's horrible. He put his hand and he waged his allegiance to the Quran, and he waged his allegiance to Muhammad, who has married a 9-year-old child. And if you ask those adults here in the United States of America, we should assimilate to them. They should not assimilate to us. How do you keep that message going without turning people off?
Well, we're seeing such drastic and stark brainwashing happening in our classrooms. I saw one of the most disgusting videos I've ever seen this morning on my newsfeed. The teacher in some state with a bunch of brown, he's a white teacher with a bunch of brown kids, mostly Spanish, jumping him at one of these ICE protest walkouts. And what that shows to me is these children have become militant and in their beliefs. And Gen X and Gen Z, you know, we have a lot of patriots in there. You have a lot of based right wingers, a lot of people that have woken up to the white replacement question as far as why are Europe and America being flooded with people that are not, you know, the native people here and displacing the native white European people. But you have a lot of them, but you also have this other category in class that has been used by the Democrats and the leftist media, and they will be the ones burning down our cities come this summer. You're going to have groups of ravenous 15 to 25-year-old. Absolutely, they have no future. They have no goals. All of them are high. They're all on marijuana. They're all watching rap videos all day. And as soon as school is out and it's warm outside, it will burn. And that's why Crusaders, my group of men, Proud Boys are in there, Oath Keepers, you name it. We've got Boogaloo Boys, any patriot, any Christian in the country. That's why we're going back to Minneapolis, February 7th, this weekend, because we have to set a precedent. We have to stand by President Trump. We have to stand by our law enforcement. We have to stand by ICE. We cannot allow our cities to degrade themselves into the lawlessness that we saw in 2020 with the George Floyd. We became the laughing stock of the world, and we cannot allow that because this time around, they're coming after white people. It's plain and simple. You saw them lynch me on the streets of Minneapolis because I'm proud of being white. And this time around, when the George Floyd riots of 2020 happen, they will be ripping white women out of their cars with their children and lynching and murdering them. Do not mince my words. It is your duty as a man, an American man, everyone I'm talking out there right now. You have a Second Amendment, a God-given duty, a right to bear arms and form militias, form groups of men to protect your country from insidious invaders and people that hate our way of life. And that's why I'm forming up. You know, I've been doing my protest, pretty small numbers. In Plano, Texas, we had 200 or 300 armed patriots with me. In Minneapolis, we only had 10 or 20. And when we go back, we're going to have maybe a couple hundred this time. But we need numbers, we need strength, we need presence. We need to show dominance. What are the Muslims doing in New York City? They're laying down their prayer carpets in our largest public settings, and they're marking their territory. They're showing their dominance.
Hey, Jake, they just jumped at commercial break, so I want you to hold your thought there, and then we'll jump back on segment 2. But I got to tell you,
you've worked hard and saved, but inflation and increased money supply are eroding your buying power. Protect and grow your wealth with physical gold and silver. Sound Money. With a Sound Money wallet, your wealth stays in your control. Buy fractionally, vault securely, ship directly, and instantly liquidate your gold and silver at the highest buyback price in the industry. Real money, real ownership. Visit tafwsoundmoney.info or scan the QR code and start securing your financial future today.
The America First Ultra MAGA Store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA Store.
The America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
Corporate transfer. Fine, professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed, because there is nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
All right, we're back over here at the America's First Warehouse again. We're streaming live on all of our social media platforms with Jake Lang, and one of the apps also on on the App Store, the America First Media and Television. And I gotta tell you, I'm so pumped to have him here with us. And Jake, just like myself, the whole world was just like standing by and just like watching all over TV, social media. There's this guy, Christian Nation, white guy, mob is attacking him. Were you prepared for that? Did you even expect that to happen? Did that come out of nowhere?
Well, we know in Minnesota that the woke mind virus has completely eaten people's brains away, and they're now in a state of suicidal empathy, where they're so empathetic to these illegal immigrants and these Somalis that are, by the way, stealing 19 billion of your dollars. But they're feigning this social, empathy to impress their friend groups, and most of the guys are doing it to try to get laid by the liberal women. I stood outside on the street corner for 10 hours yesterday being an ICE watcher. Please give me a smidgen of your kitty, right? They're like begging and doing this performative bullshit to try to get in bed with the liberal women, and it's all fake and gay out there, and we can't watch our federal law enforcement again be harassed, targeted. One of the black ICE officers was called a house N-word today by one of the people that was one of these so-called liberal ICE watchers. They're so tolerant until a black guy puts on a uniform, serves his country, then all of a sudden he's a house Negro. So, we're really in a position where these people, they're trying to dominate us. Just like I said right before we got off break, this is a humiliation ritual on white American men. They're trying to see how far they can push us, just like when the Muslims take their prayer rugs into our most public settings and they pray in the hundreds and in the thousands right in the middle of our streets, stopping traffic. They're marking territory. They're showing dominance. And what do we do back? What have white men and what have American men and what have European men always done, and Christian men always done? When they push us, we shove back. We throw them down to the ground. So in this scenario where we're seeing that Minnesota Police Department has its hands tied, all of them, and the only people doing their job are the federal police department, we need to get up, get out, stand behind President Trump, DHS, ICE, and these federal law enforcement officers that are ridding our country. They're ridding our country of a scourge of evil. These illegal invaders have come here to steal our way of life, steal our jobs, steal our housing, steal everything. And we need to push back. That's why, men out there, this is a call to action. Shoot me a DM on Instagram or X or Facebook. You can message me there too. Just type in Jake Lang, L-A-N-G. Shoot me a message. I will send you a link to become part of the Crusaders. We have local chapters operating right now in all 50 states. You can join in, stand with fellow like-minded brothers. You guys will be going to anti-abortion protests. You do some community service work, emergency disaster relief if we need to do that. It'll be a brotherhood, a fraternity of men, of patriots that are willing to stand up when the time comes to stand. And big shout out right now to Joe the Box, my brother, America First Warehouse. Thank you for putting this together. And God bless. I had to give him a big shout out, one of my great friends. So join in with the Crusaders. Vote or die. Crusader be replaced. DM me right now on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want, and X, and you will receive a link to join in with the brothers.
Jake, I got to tell you, I'm watching you do that walk, and people are throwing stuff at you, and someone pushed you on the ground, and I got to tell you, I commend you. You didn't fight back at all. And I'm looking at this, and I scrapped my whole entire life growing up in Long Island, New York. If you weren't fighting in Long Island, you were getting bullied. So I'm like, I got to tell you, I don't know how he did that. He walked the walk and didn't throw one freaking punch. And I'm like, I would have just started. I don't care who was there. My hands would have been flailing all over the place, taking as many down with me. I'm like, how did you like keep your composure not to defend yourself?
Well, you know what? When you have a message that we do, we have a righteous message. We have the moral high ground. And to devolve our message of white people being replaced into a street brawl, I'm there to speak to tens of millions of Americans that are listening to my voice when I speak. And to devolve it into some archaic street brawl would be exactly what the enemy wants. That means they would drown out our voices and amplify the violence, amplify all these other more base, more lower level inclinations instead of talking about the raw facts of the situation. And when you're in a leadership position like me and you have the opportunity to either start a mob violence of, it would have been basically an entire with my guys and their guys fighting to the death. And when you have a responsibility to take care of, I had 10, 20 volunteers with me, and God bless, some of them were actually attacked. One of them was lacerated pretty bad. But I didn't want it to turn into basically, devolving into people being stomped out on the street and dying. So I had to try to keep my composure because our message is right and it's clear, and we need to be peaceful. When the time has come to take up arms, believe me, you will know it. You and your family will feel the shiver down your spine. But right now, we have the majority. We are still the majority of our country. We won the popular vote. We can do this through political action, and we need to do it through political action because that's the way that God has ordained us to be able to run our own country the way we want. Self-determination. America for Americans. Let's kick out the invaders. Let's take back our country, and let's do it without shooting anybody as of right now. I'll let you know when it's time to start blazing.
Jake, one thing about, I don't know if you, if you've been paying attention to my streamings, one thing I'm very clear about is family foundations, humanity always over politics. I don't ask who you are or where you're from. I just say, are you a mommy? Are you a daddy? Are you hurting? What can we do to help? And I've been a very large voice for those children that have been getting decimated in Iran. And many of them, by the way, are children of God, following their Lord and their Savior, Jesus Christ, but they couldn't be outspoken about it, and with the fear of losing their life. Now you've got this Ayatollah, and you've got this supreme leader. I think they're saying somewhere crazy, the number's 50 or 60,000 children now in the last 2 weeks might have been taken. Their lives might have been taken, and hundreds of thousands of them are imprisoned. And they're saying up to 5, 10, 15 men on one young girl, and the tortures that are doing. What do you say about those children over there, and what do you say about our country? And I know it's got to be America first, but I believe a lot of the bad people that have been let in here are being funded by the Iranian regime. And if those children lose that battle, it'll be that much harder to win our battle of putting Islam to an end here in the United States of America. What do you think about those children? To me, again, I look at them as they're incredible warriors. The courage that all they're doing is with their words in their hands against weapons pointed at them. Do you have any advice for those children if they can hear you now? What would you advise them to do against this horrible regime of Iran?
The Lord your God shall go before you and stand behind you. You shall enter into the peace of the Lord. Even if you fight and die, you will be entered into his rest. So fight and stand like men for freedom, because you're guaranteed a place in heaven if you have faith in Jesus Christ in your heart. So why be subjected to slavery? The only difference between a slave and a free man is those who determine not to be conquered. And a slave can only be someone who gives up. So never become enslaved. Always fight for your freedom. And that's what we're doing over here. These Islamic caliphates are looking to enslave us under Sharia law. They've pretty much already come to that conclusion in England. We're seeing massive demographic shift over there. Actually, this is breaking news. Just in 2026, that now that the birth replacement rate has been actually flipped in England. In 2023, 56% of the babies that were born are white, which is English children. And now in 2026, that number is down to 48%. So now you're seeing a literal demographic replacement from the white European English men that have reigned and conquered the entire world and lived there, for millennia. They have now been replaced by Indians and Pakistanis and Muslims that have been let in through this open border policy from the radical left that is looking specifically to let these people in to the country in order to take the rights. Why? Because just like you said, in Iran, they come from a totalitarian regime. That's what they're used to. They're used to not having freedom of speech. They're used to not having gun rights. So why not import the third world so that they can take all of our rights, our freedom of speech, our gun rights, and everything else away with us? And that's what they're doing. They're importing a more malleable, a more easily controllable, massive people that has no shared common heritage, that has no shared value system, that have different God, different language, different style of dress, different cuisine. And they're clashing these people in our countries in order to take our rights away from us. It's a very easy, clear, simple plan. Pakistanis, Indians, everybody, they don't vote like we vote. They vote Democrat. They vote big government. They vote small personal liberties. They have no personal liberty. So they're looking to replace us with people that are more easily controlled, and we will not let it happen.
Do you think, with the United States of America, and believe me, living in New York with this Mamdani, I'm very clear, where his plan is for New York, as it's a disaster over there. Snow piles up, garbage piles up. It looks like 1980s all over again with peeping Tom stores going down 42nd Street. It's absolutely disgusting what he's allowed to happen there. Is America finished? Is America done? Have we lost the faith of the American people? And does Islam have a chance, and Sharia law have a chance to replace the Constitution of America that they're trying to do? Because it looks like to me that this cancer has gone into everywhere. 10 seconds before commercial break. Let me know what you think on that one.
Yet to be determined. Let's see if the men start showing up at these anti-Islamification rallies that I hold. Let's see if the men start to stand up for America. Yet to be determined, but not while there's a breath in my lungs, brother.
Thank you, man. Segment 2 is done.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just two entities, Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW, making travel great again.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
I'm sure you guys remember the platinum single, Justice for All, with Donald Trump and the J6 Prison Choir. Well, get ready for round 2. We're coming out with Anthem of the Free with High Res and the J6 Prison Choir. It's coming out now. It's pre-sale until December 19th when it drops. Get yours on all platforms, Google Play, Apple iTunes. Get it. It's going to be hot.
Justice for all, our voices ring. The anthem of the free.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see. A symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
All All right, we're back at the America's First Warehouse with the warrior Jake Lang. He's in a fuck around to find out moment. He doesn't, at this point doesn't look like we're not going to worry about if your feelings got hurt. We're not going to worry about who we offend at this point. As a matter of fact, I think that the country, one thing Jake and I will absolutely agree on is the country is in turmoil right now because we sacrificed our common sense in order not to hurt your feelings, and that's not what we're going to do anymore. Again, we are streaming from the America's First Warehouse here on Long Island. We're going to be doing this every Tuesday from 2 to 3, and you can find the app on America First Media and Television. And, Jake, one thing, I want people really to get an understanding who you are and where, you didn't just come out of nowhere. This has been building for a long time as you are, I don't know if we would call you a survivor or thank God that you were pardoned from that horrible day in January. But they look at you like you've done, oh my God, he attacked the Capitol. Look at this guy. He doesn't put America first. Can you kind of let the audience know? They all want to really know what is the truth about that day in January, because they just hear that a bunch of people went in there, attacked the country, and they're bad people, and how can Donald Trump pardon them?
So we'll go back to COVID because that's where it starts. I lived in New York City during COVID. I lived in New York City my entire adult life before I was kidnapped by the FBI and thrown into prison for 1,467 days, never had a trial, was held for 900 of those days in solitary confinement, 4 years and 6 days in total until I emerged victorious from the hand of God and our president, Donald J. Trump's pardon hand. His signature on that piece of paper means the world to me. It meant the next 20 years of my life would be spent not in a box, 8x10 whitewashed, disgusting, moldy box with violent people all around me, but I'll be able to spend it with violent people in Minnesota and other places. That's a joke, but COVID changed me. COVID changed everybody, I believe. And if you were a New York patriot during those early, weeks and months in New York City, you saw totalitarian, draconian measures being taken. They shut down subways at 8 p.m. They shut down the Uber Lyft app 8 p.m. They shut down City Bike 8 p.m. They started doing checkpoints at bridges. I was in Brooklyn, heading back into my apartment in Manhattan, and if I didn't have a ID that said I lived in Manhattan, I wasn't getting across the bridge. So we lived in real police state lockdown torture, and that's what the Democrats did to us. And they did it in every single major blue city and blue state. And when I saw Joe Biden win the election, right, they stole the election flat out, I said, we are going into forever lockdowns. Like, the Democrats are in control now nationwide, and we're going to be stripped of our rights. Everyone's going to be forced vaccinated. And after a year of going through totalitarianism and President Trump saying, everybody come to the Capitol, January 6th is going to be wild. You make a stand for your country. We all showed up with the love of God in our hearts. We were singing Christian hymns. We were waving American flags. We love our country. We hate communism. And we hate these people that are trying to steal our country from us. And to make matters worse than they stole the election, they turned their weapons on us. They shot us with rubber bullets, tear gas, concussion grenades, pepper ball bullets, metal batons. I mean, I have a huge scar on the top of my head, another one. In the top of my head, other than the one that I just got in Minneapolis, which we just got the staples removed a couple days ago. And so we had to stand up. They attacked us. We're Americans, these colors, red, white, and blue, we don't run. We aren't going to cower down to tyrannical oppression. And we stood up at the Capitol. They ended up taking 4 lives from us, 4 unarmed Americans, Ashley Babbitt, Roseanne Boylan, Kevin Grease, and Benjamin Phillip. We never killed or even seriously injured any Capitol police officers, but we took the Capitol that day. We the people, as the name of this show is, shout out to the Midnight, retweet, follow, subscribe, like, share, do everything right now. Make sure you're following Midnight, by the way, guys. But we the people finally had a chance where we were in the United States Capitol and these treasonous traitors had run like the cockroaches they are and scurried, because American patriots were there to declare that the election was stolen, that the COVID lockdowns need to end, and that we're strong Americans and we will not be duped and our rights will not be stolen from us without us fighting back. So January 6th was a beautiful day to me. You said it was a horrible day to me. It was a beautiful day. 100, 200 years from now, it'll be remembered as a day when free men stood up against tyranny. And regardless of the Fedsurrection part of it, where the Democrats had a hand in twisting the narrative and perverting it to use it against President Trump, I myself see that day as a day of rebellion of our founding fathers level style against tyranny. And, you know, I love to be a part of it. It was the greatest day of my life. And to suffer for 4 years afterwards was an atrocity. That's the atrocity, that they locked up me and 1,500 other Americans for standing up. But, you know, we grew stronger in there. We found God. We developed relationships that are unbreakable, you know, and now we're taking those relationships, we're taking those character development lessons, those hard times, the things that made you develop internal grit, and we're taking those things out to the street. We're fighting for America still. President Trump didn't pardon me to sit on my ankles and relax. He pardoned me because he needs warriors fighting for the America First, Make America Great Again agenda. Making America great again doesn't just happen from executive orders. It happens in the way we live our lives, what we stand for, the principles we're willing to fight and die for. And that's why President Trump pardoned me. So I'm trying to make him proud. I'm trying to make my Father in heaven proud and do everything I can to make America great. I mean, because America was great when we had, you know, a certain way of life here. And that way of life is changing. We're being robbed from it. And so we have to scratch and claw and kick and bleed and sweat and cry and push and fight and starve and survive to get back to where we were. Or else we'll lose our country. We'll end up like Europe. We'll end up like Belgium, where there's burqas everywhere. There's like open air street markets you can't recognize. It's not like Rome, Italy, Paris, France, London, England. They look like third world shitholes. And I'm not going to allow that to happen in America. I'm going to go to every city, every corner of this country, stand there with my American flag, tell the Muslims to get out. They're invaders. And we're going to fight until America is taken back from these invaders and they stop stealing our money.
Yeah, and I love the message, and it's got to be America first, and it's got to be, the Constitution of the United States of America has got to take precedence over everything, and the reason where I came up with the show was originally going to be called The Midnight, and the reason why I came up with the name of the show for We the People, because, I just kind of by natural selection got into politics. My original platform was a voice for children that are being bullied. 4,800 children lose their lives every year due to being bullied, and I'm a voice for women in domestic violent relationships. But I realized that, I'm watching as I'm coming down the pipe. I wasn't a Republican, I wasn't a Democrat. I was kind of in the middle. Like I gave one side the chance and one side the chance. I'm like, well, these guys aren't nice, and these guys haven't been treating me well, and the Republicans and these Republicans is like family men making time for their family, going to church, and the other side is, attacking churches and scaring the shit out of children, So I said, but there's a lot of people that are out there that don't side with what they are doing, which are the Democrats. But they're so turned off by Donald Trump that if I wear a Trump hat, they say, "Oh, I can't do this because I've been told for so long, we can't like him." So, I kind of said, well, let's just get rid of all the titles. Let's just throw all the titles out the window. The only title I want to live by is, do you care about the best interest of the United States of America? And do you care the best interest of my family and yours? And that's where We the People came in. And I think the second that we can just start looking at people as human beings and, throw all that other shit out the window, are you a good human or are you not? That's really where it is. And having guys like you out there fighting for us, and I might join you, by the way, in Minnesota. The midnight might be coming to Minnesota with Jake.
American men.
Yeah, I got so many messages. Midnight, we need you out in Minnesota. We need you walking the streets. We need you to talk to everybody. We need you to take the temperament down. You've got a voice where you can calm people down and bring them back to America. And that might happen. With you, Jake. So.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. This platform is great. I love the premise of it, the We the People, and making it a platform for your viewers and your audience to be able to get their voices and have their opinions that they believe in their hearts be spoke about. And that's one of the things that we're seeing. This is actually the phenomenon about the conversations that I'm having and the topics I'm broaching is that the silent majority, by far, you have a huge contingency of, these kind of weak-kneed people that are, oh, he's too aggressive, he's too abrasive, this is that. But Look at, there's like, 200, 300 comments that say that. And then there's, 70,000 likes on the post. So which one is really, holding the weight there? The 300 people that make these comments saying, oh, it's too much, it's too this, it's too that, or the 70, 80,000 people that are watching and liking and they're sharing and they're retweeting. So you have to understand that people believe the same things I believe. They don't want to see native populations replaced. That's been true across the board. When we did it in colonizing other parts of the world, everyone saw it as an evil, right? I mean, I personally don't that much because we brought the medicine, technology, schools, roads, the churches, everything. But at the end of the day, to demographically replace and to change the culture of a people is wrong. And when the English people did it to India and South Africa and stuff, people were hurt by it, and we made changes and said universally that's not right. What about the colonization of Minneapolis by the Somalians? They are colonizing us. It's a very simple thing. When white people do it to brown people, it's wrong. But when brown people colonize white people, all of a sudden it's fine, and it's cultural enrichment and it's diversity and multiculturalism. It's bullshit. It's
You're right.
There's
a lot of right.
our people.
There's a lot of hypocrisy, and it can't. It's a two-way street. It can't be a one-way street. We got about 30 seconds left to this incredible premiere of We the People. I'm so excited you were the first guest, and thank you so much for signing up for this. My last question: Billie Eilish, is she on Stolen Land?
Listen, Billie Eilish makes two good points, and neither one of them are with her mouth. So
I appreciate you, man. This is the Midnight with Jay Klang, man. You've been fantastic. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
God bless you
God
guys.
bless you.
Retweet
God
the
bless your
stream,
family.
please. Make sure this stuff gets out there. America's First Warehouse. Support these patriots in Long Island. God bless you. Thanks, Midnight. Thanks, Joe.
You got it. Midnight. Jay Klang. We're out. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of hope, a symbol of unity, for the patriots of America.